Welcome to the Social Mission Revolution. Each week we explore some of the greatest undertold stories of businesses and everyday people who are making their ultimate impact on the world through social mission. This is Social Mission Revolution, and this is your host, Andrea Putting. Welcome to Social Mission Revolution, and today my guest is Julie Fisher, and Julie has written a book, The Unexpected Journey, Embracing the Beauty of Disability, and I'm fascinated to talk to Julie about this story because it's not just a story of her own heartache, but then how she can work with others and help others to deal with their situation and to move forward. So welcome, Julie. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to join you today and have a chat.
Yeah, great. So let's start off with my question that I love to start with of if there was just one thing for you to fight for, what would that be?
I would fight for inclusion. Initially, because I have disability in my life with my son, I want to fight for people with disabilities to be included and accepted and recognised as people for who they are, but also inclusion of everyone. As my journey keeps going, I'm meeting people and making contacts, and we're finding that there are a lot of people that feel like they're not included, and I think that's pretty sad because they don't get to feel free and do things that they would like to do. So that's one thing I'm very passionate about, inclusion, and that is what I would fight for, and that's what I'm starting to fight for now, is raising awareness and sharing stories on social media and things like that so people can see what people are capable of and that they deserve to be included and accepted for who they are. And I think with social media, we do get to see a lot more of that, which is great. You get to see some wonderful stories out there. So yeah, that's what I would like to fight for, because I think it's getting better, but I think it can get a lot better than what it is even now. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I said to you earlier that inclusion is a topic that's very close to my heart, and making sure that each and every person feels like they are accepted and have a place of belonging. It's just something that I like to fight for every day too.
Yeah, and I think everybody deserves to be like that. I mean, there's nothing more heartbreaking than seeing, a group of children, I mean, my son's 14, so a group of children, or even when you go to a party, you have a group of people over here and you see one person on their own just watching, and you can't imagine what's going through their mind, So I hate seeing it. I don't like it, and I don't think anybody deserves to be treated like that. So
yeah, very true. Very much. So, can you share with us a little bit, Julie, about your story? I don't know. It's would be a heartbreaking story for many parents to have to deal with. So I'd love to hear what your story is.
Yes, there's definitely heartbreak and grief, I guess, it's a harsh word, but it's probably the best word to use because you do go through those emotions. My story is in 2005, I got pregnant with our third child. So we were very, very excited. But then when I had my first ultrasound, I think they're called stenographers, kept measuring the thickness of the back of the baby's neck, and I knew that was an indicator for Down syndrome. So I asked him if he thought the baby had Down syndrome, and he said he couldn't say yes or no because everything looked fine. The measurement wasn't over what the indicator is, which is 3 millimeters. I think Darcy's was 2.8, and he said he was just being sure of his measurement. So I went home that night, and I said to my husband, because my gut instinct kicked in then, I went home to my husband and I said, I think the baby's got Down syndrome. I had already made a friend, Tina, who has a daughter with Down syndrome, 2 years before getting pregnant, and I used to ask her lots and lots of questions about her daughter. So I went home and I said to Mick, I think the baby's got Down syndrome. I think I'd like to find out while I'm pregnant, because I don't want people welcoming our baby into the world of kids, which is what Tina described when they got the post-diagnosis after her daughter Amy was born. So that's what we did. We got a second opinion and I had an amniocentesis. I was 15 weeks pregnant at this stage, and the obstetrician said he would rush the results through, which I told him he didn't need to, because we were only finding out so that we could tell people. We weren't finding out for any other reason. I never had termination in my thoughts at all. But he rushed through the results and they came in the very next day. So the very next day we were actually at my mother-in-law's funeral and wake when we got the phone call. And even though I thought I was really prepared, and, you know, I'd been asking Tina lots of questions about Amy and things like that, when he actually said, your baby has Down syndrome, my heart sank, I guess, and my stomach went into knots. Even though I thought he was going to say it, it was really strange. I thought I'd be fine. I thought he'll say it and I'll say, yep, no problem. That's fine. All good. Anyway, it didn't. My heart did sink a little. And I think it's more the unknown. You know, you think you're going this way, and then somebody gives you a story or a news, and you go that way. It's a complete opposite direction to where you thought you were going. So I shared the result with Mick and we both cried. And then we regained ourselves, and we decided that we wouldn't tell everybody at the funeral because they were already dealing with a bit of grief anyway. But we ended up telling people. So it was a really strange day. There were, you know, positive hugs, worried hugs, negative hugs. Everyone was going through so many emotions. So that was hard. And I called Tina, and you know, she was a really big support person for me going through the pregnancy. And then when it came time to writing my book, I thought it would be a great story to share so that people know it's okay to have those bad feelings, even though something good's coming and you're happy about the baby. It's all right to go through those thoughts, because it is a very unknown thing. I mean, when we get pregnant with our first child, we go through a lot of worry too, because we don't know what to expect. You know, nobody teaches you what to do with this baby, you know.
Yeah. Was there, I'm really curious about this, was there a lot of pressure from doctors or anyone about aborting your baby?
I think a lot of people told me I was brave, like friends and things like that. They said, wow, you're so brave. I couldn't do it. Which I didn't think of myself as brave. And I think it was because I was watching Amy grow up. And Tina actually ran a support group. So I got to join that while I was pregnant. So I got to see children with Down syndrome ranging from 1-year-old right up to about 7, I think they were. So, but there was pressure. I had 2 doctors. I had the doctor that did the amniocentesis, and I had a local doctor that was acting as an obstetrician, and I had both of those men telling me several times about my options of termination and what would happen. I said I was happy to hear the options initially because I realised that they had an obligation to do that. But when they started telling me at every visit that I went to, I started getting a bit angry and upset. And I think I actually yelled at them both the last time they told me, because I said, you know, I have no problem bringing this child into the world because I think he's going to be amazing. And, you know, you need to listen to your patients and tell them the options because you have to, but please don't bully, you know, because it's a form of bullying, keeping on telling somebody something like that. and your mind you start to question what you're doing, and things like that. And I'm so glad that I stood firm with my decision to bring him into the world, because he's an amazing little fella that teaches us and lots of people things every single day.
Of course, after 14 years later, I'm sure you wouldn't be without him.
No. And he's opened my eyes. He's brought us into the world of disability, which the people that we've met simply, it's a beautiful world to live in. There's no judgment. Everybody's very supportive. I love the world that he's made us be a part of. It's really, really good, and it's guiding me to where I want to go to help other people. So they always say things happen for a reason, don't they?
They do. And you call your book The Unexpected Journey, which obviously that is unexpected, because when we think about having a child, we think about having every piece of perfection, which I say cautiously when I say that about having perfection, because I know that it's our image of perfection. But I'm sure that you would say, and I would probably agree with you, that Darcy is perfect. So, but we don't expect that that's part of our journey. We expect the normal.
That's right. Yes, that's right. And things like that happen to other people,
Yeah.
But it's funny because everybody, when you're expecting a baby, everyone says, as long as they're healthy. Well, Darcy is healthy. He's very healthy. But he has Down syndrome. So it's just a part of him. And it's a lovely part of him. Yeah. Very stubborn, though, at times.
What are some of the lessons that you've learnt along the way that you think are important to share with people?
I think, don't be afraid of your emotions. Number one, people won't judge you for how you're feeling, because it's just a natural thing that we go through with anything. When you're thrown a curveball in life, some of the emotions that you go through are pretty dark sometimes. But I think it's okay to feel like that, and make sure that you've got someone that you can talk to about that. Make sure you've got a support person. What else has he's taught me to never give up, like just keep pushing forward. They have a lot of sensory issues, kids with disabilities, and sometimes they don't want to do things. And look, let's face it, there's a lot of things we all don't want to do, but if you keep pushing forward and try again, eventually you do get the success that you're looking for. So I want to help people sort of do that as well, change their mindset, and don't sort of stick with, oh, they just don't like that, they're stubborn and they're not going to do it. They never are. Well, they will, especially also too as they get older and start to understand a little more. And sometimes that takes a little bit longer with people with Down syndrome, because they learn at a slower rate. Well, Darcy does anyway. But things that I tried with him, we'll take, for instance, he does dancing. It's an all abilities dance group. And we first tried that when he was about 5. And it was disastrous. He just sat there, and I thought, why isn't he dancing? He loves music. Why isn't he? But he just wasn't ready for the group situation or anything like that. We tried again a couple of years later, and he's still doing it now. He loves it. He loves to perform. And I knew he had it in him. So we just tried again. So I think that's important for people to, not just put it in the too hard basket and get stuck. Keep sort of moving forward. And then other people, if you talk to other people, sometimes people have different ways that you can try things, different strategies and stuff like that as well. So yeah. And I also want to help people that don't have disability in their lives to learn how to see the person and not the disability. I think that's really important. And one of my customers at work, after he read my book, he came to me and he said, it's my favourite. He said, you've opened my eyes. And I said, oh, how's that? And he said, well, I've never had disability in my life before. And he said, the other day, after reading the book, when I was at the supermarket, I saw a group of people with disabilities shopping. And he goes, I found myself looking at them differently. I said, I know why. And he said, why? I said, because you saw them as people, not disabled people. He goes, I think you're right. Now, this is a gentleman that's like 70. And, you know, I was rapt that I changed his mindset there, you know. So he said, I'm looking at lots of things differently after reading your book. So that just made me feel really proud and happy. So the message is getting out there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very much a part of obviously what you do and what I do is helping people to see past those stereotypes that they're being presented to by culture or society or whatever that make them think in a certain way, and just suddenly going, well, when you start to connect with people on a human person to person level, those kind of differences just disappear. They just melt away, and we can then relate to the person and feel differently about them. We start to put ourselves in their shoes and be able to understand who they are and what they're about.
Yeah, because, and the other thing is, like, we're all different, aren't we? Like, we all do different things. We're all good at different things. We're all bad at different things. Like, so, you know, I couldn't chop a tree down, for instance, but, you know, my husband can. Like, that's a really funny example, but yeah, we're all different, and that's fine. That's how we should be, because otherwise life would be really boring, I think, if we were all the same and we were all going down the same track. I think it's good to have difference and accept it.
Certainly is. And I really come to appreciate some of the things that I can't do that somebody else can do. And somebody else might think that I am being a little bit, okay, I can get on stage and speak and somebody else can't, but they can do stuff that would appear to be simple in somebody's minds. It's just, to me, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I come to really appreciate that somebody else is able to go to work every day and do that 9-to-5 job of whatever that I just couldn't sit there and do. Whatever it is, we have to appreciate that we're all different in some way, and that's what makes the magic mix.
That's right.
The tapestry of community. That's who we are, and that's what we're about.
So people with disabilities are that they're people and they have a disability. You know, I'm a person and I have a thyroid condition, but that's okay. You know, I think it gets hard when people can't see the disability, understanding certain behaviours and things like that. But again, we're all different, and I think if you embrace the differences, you can cope with it a lot better. You know, I love when Darcy shows people what he can accomplish and achieve. And, you know, we've worked really hard with him, but he loves to be social. He loves going to concerts. He loves going to theatre. He plays football, basketball, dances. And I love it when people watch him do something and go, wow, look at that. And you say, yeah, he can do it. Lots of practice like everybody else, but do it. And I love people's reactions when they see people accomplishing things. You know, it's beautiful.
And I think we do that with anybody and everybody, regardless if they've got a disability or not. When someone really reaches their potential, it inspires us.
It does, yeah, it does.
Yeah, and we all have that particular genius of something in our lives. And
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and we find it pretty magic.
Yeah, and I mean, since sharing my story, you know, I've been during the COVID-19, I've read my book online live on Facebook, and I've been writing other pieces to share with people because people are really enjoying my stories, and they're telling me that it's inspiring them to do different things and it's helping them to see things differently. So I'm continuing that. I'm trying to write a piece every week, just something to share about Darcy. Darcy did mainstream schooling. He did both. He did dual schooling. So my next piece is about that, and there was some fighting along the road with the dual schooling and the
Yes,
mainstream.
there was.
But there was lots and lots of wonderful things that came out of that. And, camp, the camp situation always comes to mind. There was a few teachers that were a bit worried about him going on camp and didn't want him to go, but we fought for him to go, and he went. And when he came back, the teachers came out of the bus and said, "Wow, he's amazing. What a great little fella you've got there." And I said, "Well, I knew he'd be okay. That's why I sent him. And I wanted him to experience things like that, And, so I love, as I said before, opening people's eyes to look at him differently. So, and that's what I want to help share with everybody.
It's really, just find that really inspiring, that's how you've seen things and how you've reacted to it along the way. So I'd love to know what it is that you want to do with this now. You've written a book that's clearly very inspiring, and where you're wanting to take that to.
I want to advocate for Darcy and other people with disabilities. I want to, just spread the message of some of the wonderful things that they can accomplish and do, just like all of us. So I definitely would like to share that with different groups, schools, things like that. And I'd like to run some sort of a workshop to help families when they're stuck, when they're stuck in those negative thoughts and not wanting to take their kids out because they're worried about what people are saying. And I want to help them get through all of that so that their kids can experience everything that everybody deserves to experience. And in doing that, I think it shows the wider community how able they are and how wonderful they are as well. So there's lots of different things I want to do there. So, work with people one-on-one, be a support person. I'd also love to run some inclusive events for kids, some dance parties and things like that they can just come to and not have a care in the world, just join in and have a lot of fun. And also, some support groups for parents, so we can all bounce ideas off each other and things like that to help each other out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's, a lot of good stuff there, a lot of good ideas that you're working on, and I know that you're going to make many of them happen.
I am. I'm working on all of that at the moment, sort of, different ways of presenting things and stuff like that. Like I've helped, I know that I've helped people along the way just on, just in a casual setting, with just trying something different. Also part of the support group, because I've got two older boys as well. And I remember one of the girls coming to support group one day saying that her son, I can't remember what it is exactly that he did, but he did something that she thought was just totally out of the norm. And she was really worried. What was she going to do about making him not do this anymore? And I said, "Oh, Darcy's brothers did that at the same age." And she went, "Oh, so it's normal." And I said, "Yeah." So, just even little things like that, just helping people, sort of see that it's not always the disability that's making their kids doing something. It's something about growing up.
Yes.
Where they experience, try new things. Yeah. So she was rapt when I told her that.
Well, what kind of advice, would you have any advice for anybody who was looking in that kind of, finding themselves in this situation where they're facing this unexpected journey in their life? What advice would you give them?
Definitely find some support, someone to talk to. All the disabilities have groups that you can go to as well, and in those groups they usually have people like my friend Tina that run support groups, and I think it was good for us to go to them while I was pregnant, and for everybody to see the kids and see that they just play like everybody else and things like that. There are kids that need extra help as well. Like, Darcy, when he was a baby, he aspirated, so he was tube fed for liquids for a long time up until he lost his peg last year. So he's drinking orally again now. So sometimes there's extra work there to be done, but it's worth it. It's it's okay that has to be done. So definitely support, and don't keep your feelings inside. Like, have somebody that you can talk to about how you're feeling, somebody that won't judge you for how you're feeling as well. I think we've all got even a friend that they can talk to for things like that.
Yeah, that's really important.
Mm.
And I would say that one of those things might be to accept support as well,
Yes.
because sometimes, I don't know, our pride gets in the way, maybe, that we think that we should be able to manage on our own.
Yeah, and sometimes people are a bit scared too. I remember when Darcy was a baby and we were at an early intervention service called Biala. I've always been a very positive person. I'm like that with everything. I try and look at the best way. And a young mum had just had a baby with Down syndrome, and another lady that was at Biala said, "You need to meet Julie. She's very positive. She's provides good support, advice." And this lady met me the first time and got scared off because I think she thought, like, I think I was too positive for her. I'm not really sure, but we're friends now.
Yeah.
Once she saw that I went through highs and lows just like she did, she was a bit more forthcoming and, you know, having me as a support person. But initially, I think she just thought that I just rode through this without any hiccups. Yeah. But I think that's just because, but I think that's just because of how I am. You know, I'm a positive person, and I always have a smile on my face. But I do go through the lows as well, just like everybody else. We all have problems that we've got to work through, and I always find having someone to talk to is good.
Fantastic. And you be that person for many people, I am sure.
I love being that person for people. I love listening to, just sometimes people just want to sit down and just pour their story out as well. They don't want you to say anything back. And I think that's, being a good listener is good as well. And I think I'm quite good at that too.
Fantastic. So how can people get a hold of your book?
I do have a website, which is www.juliefisher.com.au. And I also have a fan page on Facebook called The Unexpected Journey, which I'm quite active on. I share lots of things on there, and that's where I do my live readings as well that people are enjoying. So,
Fantastic.
And you can inbox there as well.
Yeah, so is that the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to connect with you?
I think so, yeah. They can email me via the website, or they can send me a message on the fan page, and I check it regularly, so I'll get back to them really quickly.
Great. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed having this chat with you, Julie. It's quite inspiring, and to hear about your journey and to experience your positivity about it, and that the way that you've been able to, I was going to say not make the most of it, but to help your son have the best life he can have, and to be, and that's normal for him. That's
right, and that's what we all want for our kids. Even I think, no matter what the obstacles are, you can always find some way around making sure they get to try something that they like. I've got a friend with a daughter. She's in a wheelchair. She has a terminal illness, and she started in mainstream school and things like that. So she has some friends on Facebook that are mainstream. She's 16 now, and she wanted a part-time job. And her mum thought, "Holy, come on, what am I going to do there?" So she put it out on Facebook, and Amelia now does a Saturday at a horse riding place, and she helps look after the old horse there. And she also does the other Saturday at a wildlife rescue place where she feeds the joeys and things like that. So boom, she's happy. She's got a part-time job, and mum's happy. So there's always a way you can, there's always something you can do.
Yeah.
Might take a little while to think of it sometimes, but I think, there's always something you can do. And I like to spread that as well.
Yeah, that's
can be hard. Yeah. Yeah, it can be hard sometimes, but when you get a good outcome or whatever outcome, it's very rewarding at the end.
Mm. Fantastic. I've really appreciated your time, Julie. It really has been a good opportunity to speak to you and find out about your unexpected journey, and really how that, I think your unexpected journey is not all that dissimilar to what everyone else's journey is. It just has a couple of little side
That's right.
avenues that, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and we're all throwing curveballs in life, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's not always smooth sailing. It's not meant to be, I don't think.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me too. It's been really lovely speaking with you today.
Yes. Thank you, Julie. And that's all I have today for the Social Mission Revolution, and we'll be back next time with another Social Mission Revolutionist. This has been the Social Mission Revolution with Andrea Putting. Join me again next week when we'll speak to another Social Mission Revolutionist who will inspire you on your journey to making your ultimate impact on the world.